Snow, snow, let it snow. Outside it's cold.
So I promised, I said I wanted to show you how I make my butternut squash. So I'm gonna film how I make butternut squash taste delicious. So first, you gotta cut the butternut squash. So I'm gonna show you guys how I do that. You need a big old knife. I don't know the names of knives, but you need a big one. And you're gonna just cut it. Well, first I washed it. You can see it's a little wet. Cut it right down the middle. And let me peel off the label. Peel the label off. Then you're just gonna cut off the top. Then cut this piece right down the middle. And now I'm gonna cut it here just to make it into more workable pieces. Cut this. Woo! Then for Big Mama, you're gonna cut off the bottom piece. This is where the seeds are, so you cut it right down the middle. Then you're gonna cut it again down the middle. Same thing with the other piece. Woo! Look. So. Then you're gonna scoop out the seeds. So I take a metal knife, a metal spoon, and just scoop it out. When you cut it in smaller pieces, smaller workable pieces, it makes it easier to peel. So that's how I do that. And then I just peel each piece, and then we're gonna cut them up into little squares and get it ready for the oven. See? We have a whole piece here. Then I'm gonna cut it down the middle. Yeah, so there's residue here from the seeds. So I'm just gonna cut a thin layer off, just like so. So now it looks like that, and I'll do that for all of the pieces, but I'm just gonna do a demo, and then I'm gonna cut it. You don't have to watch me cut all of these pieces. I'm just showing you guys how I prepare it. So then it looks like that. Then you just cut them into little, and I'm just placing them in a bowl because I'm gonna wash it, rinse it off. Now just cut it into pieces. Let me show you the size. Like that size. And I'm going to do that for all of the squash. Okay, so now I'm going to cut up all of these pieces. I'm not going to show that on camera. You don't need to see that part. And I'll be back once everything is cut up, rinsed, and ready for the oven. I've cut all of the butternut squash up. As you can see, I rinsed it off, cleaned it, and dried it. Now I'm going to season. So first, this is avocado oil. I'm just going to dabble that, drizzle that onto the butternut squash, like so. gonna use some cinnamon and just put a healthy amount of cinnamon on there. Then I'm gonna add some nutmeg. Then I'm just gonna stir. You can do this with your hands if you want. Just gonna stir it up and mix it all in. Very simple to do. You don't need any sugar. We're staying away from the processed sugars. So this is a great way to do that. And this is a great holiday dish that you can make instead of eating candied yams, which have a lot of added sugar and starch in it. The butternut squash is a great alternative. It has a nice consistency. So once they're all covered like so, and it looks like this, ooh, now it's ready to be added to your pans and into the oven. Your oven should be preheated to 375. Then I'm just gonna add it to my pans. Just gonna pour that in. I'm dropping them on the floor and everything. Oh Lord. Then once you have them in your pan, put a couple more. They shrink down once they start to cook. So it's okay if they are not, if they're covered, like if you have a good amount, but you don't want to put too many in one pan. I have another pan here. So you have your pan and it looks like this in the pan. Then I'm going to add the rest to my second pan. Just drop those in there. And just spread it around. I could add a few more here. It's a really simple dish to make, and it goes with so many things. Then you just plop it in the oven, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done. So I'm just going to give you a few pointers when you're making these. You want to bake them, you want to roast them really well. So it's okay if they stay in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. Once they start to brown, they shrink down so much. I'm usually able to put all of the butternut squash into one pan, and I'll show you that when we get to that point. And that's it. So I'll be back. Okay, this was in the oven for about 40 minutes. So now I'm just gonna kind of move them around. Like stir it in the pot. If some of them get stuck to the bottom, that's okay. It's not a big deal. And you see how they shrunk down some? That's actually good, because what I'm gonna do is mix both of these together now, both pans. Yeah, you hear that sizzle? Okay. So you see how it's looking? It's looking really good. It's smelling really good. It's smelling like candy yams right now. This is a great way to have the taste of candy yams without the calories and sugar and extra starch. So this is my recipe, or this is how I prepare butternut squash, And I hope that you guys try it, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. So I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
It's not the diamond. It's not the diamond. It's not the pearl. It's not the pearl. I'm that girl. I'm that girl. It's just that I'm that girl.